aspire to be like as I get older. Los to Mix.
Hey, you
D.
already know when you see this Nas fade, it can only be one brother, the good brother, Los D Mix, my brother, Danny Ocean. How we
Yes,
doing? Glad
sir.
to be here with
How
you,
you
man.
living, baby? We here.
Man, let me tell you something. I'm living like a pimp with a fresh new Jerry curl. That means I'm living good. You know what I'm saying? That just means I'm living good. I can't complain. How you doing, man?
I'm living the dream. A pimp with a fresh Jericho. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it for tonight. Thank you for joining us. We will holler. Oh man! So this show is brought to you by GoingFor2.com. Head over there for all your daily fantasy needs and betting advice. Flip that stimulus into another stimulus without a pyramid
Yes,
scheme, because
sir.
we're
Yes,
not living
sir.
like that. We don't live
Flip
like
that
that.
stimulus into a 16 parlay and just hope that one of it hits. You
Did
know,
you
just
did you did you hit on anything Sunday?
oh no. Let me tell you today. So I started off by thinking the Bucks are going to win money line. I was only going to bet on Bucks money line, but then I thought about it. I was like, well, there's a chance that the Bucks win. Maybe I can throw down a parlay and really make even more money. So I did the Bucks money line. First touchdown of the game was Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Travis Kelce
Okay.
touchdown. Tom Brady over 297.
Oof.
Only one of those hit, and that was the original one I had. Bucks money
Ooh.
line.
Ooh. Don't
So
forget to report your gambling earnings to the IRS, because we're not getting Ronald Isley out here. We're not going to jail for no
I didn't
back
get no
taxes.
earnings. I didn't get no earnings.
Credit Karma can't help against the IRS.
Once Gronk scored the first touchdown in the Super Bowl, I was just sitting there with the face because I knew my parlay was ruined. One of these days, I'm gonna put down a $10 parlay and I'm gonna hit, and then I'm gonna never do a parlay again because the ROI gonna be so crazy that I don't need to do another one. I'm just gonna live right off in the sunset with that.
That's it.
Most definitely.
All right, so here's how the show works. D and I are going to break down the biggest 3 sports stories of the week, and then at the end of the show, one of us, both of us, none of us will talk about something that is touching our souls for the week. So we're going to get started with the Super Bowl recap. As D mentioned, the Bucks won in stunning fashion, 31-9. The Chiefs failed to score a touchdown, which whoever had that bet, shout out to you, you're clairvoyant. Brady looked timeless. What was your biggest takeaway from the Super Bowl?
I think my biggest takeaway wasn't really Tom Brady. I think my takeaway from that Super Bowl was that was an all-time great performance by a defense. And I say that because if you think back to the 2015 Super Bowl, right? Broncos, Panthers. Broncos just came in and shut down the Panthers. And historically speaking, when a great offense goes against a great defense, most people are going to take the offense. It's hard to stop a good offense. But when a defense really shows up, the way that Tampa Bay was able to really only rush 4, allow their safeties to stay over the top, and then get pressure with just their front 4, that's a recipe for disaster. And the Chiefs I think even Todd Bowles said it. I think his game plan was mostly take away the first read, right? You take away the first read from Patrick Mahomes, make him hold the ball more, then you allow your front 4 to close the gap. They were already clearly without an offensive line. They were out, the starting left tackles were out. Then you had to move your right tackle to right guard. Your left tackle to right tackle. You had to move you got to bring a guy in to play guard. It just reared its ugly head that you need your top dogs, even on the offensive line in the big game. So my biggest takeaway was that Tampa Bay defense may have had an all-time great playoff performance. I know we always talk about quarterbacks going on incredible runs in the postseason, but that Tampa Bay defense went on an all-time great postseason run. They shut down. Okay, we're not even going to talk about Washington. Whatever. That offense was just bad. They shut down a really good Saints offense. They set down the greatest quarterback of all time in Lambeau in that offense. Then they went to the Super Bowl and essentially took the second best offense in the league and just completely shut them down. All that speed didn't even come into play. That was the one factor that Kansas City had. They just had speed. And you can't. What is speed when you can't throw them the ball? So I think my biggest takeaway is that we really got to tip our hats off to that Bucks defense. They were legit. Obviously, Tom Brady did his thing. He made the plays that he needed to make. Gronk made the plays that need to be made. But that Tampa Bay defense, unreal. Hats off to them because they showed up. That was no fluke. That was a legitimate defensive performance.
I'm kind of going to piggyback off what you said, and I know we talk about how Eric Bieniemy deserves a head coaching job, and he absolutely does. But we need to sit him and Andy Reid down and talk about offensive protection. So I was very curious, and I saw this stat on Twitter. They left those backup tackles by themselves 92% of the time.
No chipping, no nothing.
No chip, no nothing. If that isn't negligence, if they were parents, the police would be called because they like I just and I also looked this up. So the Bucks got pressure on Mahomes 52% of the time. I don't you go into it's mind blowing because when stuff like that happens, when people get into your quarterback, you switch your offense to like dink and donk. Even though Kelsey had some drops, he had 10 catches for 133 yards. Like that well was overflowing. Feed that man the ball and force Tampa to get out of that too high safety look. Because that's what they did. Too high safeties. Tyreek can't run by two people, and neither can McCole Hardman. And the other biggest thing I took away was if you listen closely, you can hear Robert Kraft on the phone asking Bill Belichick, why the hell did you make me get rid of Tom Brady? Because obviously Brady is the key. I don't know, like the last thing I took away is that Mahomes, I know he didn't have his best game, but some of those throws.
Oh, incredible.
Is he human? Turf toe parallel to the ground. Like his ribs are parallel. He throws a 30 yards on a dime and it hits old boy in the face mask and he drops it. How does he do it?
I mean, he's different. I mean, I'll put it like this. Patrick Mahomes had some of the greatest incompletions I think I've ever seen. Outside of Aaron Rodgers, who has some incredible incompletions, but Patrick Mahomes, I mean, like the one you mentioned, like ribs parallel to the ground, throws a dime, and his receiver still didn't help him out. I mean, if it hits you in the face mask, you can catch it. But
so let me ask you this, because a lot of people have, now that that's happened, people are saying Patrick Mahomes is out of the GOAT conversation forever. Do you think he's out of that conversation just because he lost to, arguably the greatest quarterback ever?
No, I mean, it's way too early to tell. I mean, you think about it from a talent perspective, already he is clearly one of the greatest that we've seen, just from pure talent. There's not many quarterbacks outside of Aaron Rodgers that can do everything or make all the throws that Mahomes can make. It's early in his career. Think about it. This is his third year starting, I believe. In two of the seasons, and all three seasons that he started, he has made the AFC Championship game.
Yeah.
2 of those years he's won the AFC. 1 of those years he won the Super Bowl. And he's still got a ton left to grow and get better at. It's way too early to say Patrick Mahomes is not going to be in that GOAT conversation. Let him get a few more good seasons under his belt. Let him win, at least one more Super Bowl. But, as long as he continues to perform at the very high level that he's performing at, I think there's a chance that down the road we're going to be looking at his career, the whole body of work, and saying, no, this guy can be considered the greatest of all time. Because the way football works now, Tom Brady is messing up the precedent when people think greatest of all time because he has 7 rings, right? Yeah. That doesn't make him the greatest of all time, in my opinion. That means he has been part of some of the 7 best teams. He wasn't always the reason why they won, but he damn sure gave his team every opportunity to win those games. But I think outside of the 2007 season when they were undefeated and the year where the Patriots went to the Super Bowl and lost to the Eagles, outside of that, Tom Brady has never really been the best quarterback in the league. When it was him and Peyton, I would say Peyton from a talent perspective was better. He was putting up better numbers. Tom Brady was on better teams. Then Aaron Rodgers came. I need no argument. Aaron Rodgers' talent perspective is better than Tom Brady. Then Mahomes came along. Talent perspective, he's better than Tom Brady. Tom Brady has just been on better teams, in my opinion.
Do you have a weapons contract with the government because you're just bringing all the heat, all the fire, all the good bullets tonight? Wow, that's a spicy. This is episode 1. This is episode 1, and you just came out the gate with Tom Brady is not the best ever.
Nah, I mean, I would say he's easily the most accomplished. He's the most accomplished football player ever. That's not even up to debate because I don't think there would be another football player who messes around and wins 7 Lombardi trophies. So we can call him the greatest, most accomplished quarterback ever. When you're talking about greatest, I think you have to take you're talking about talent. You're talking about talent and then somewhat success. You have to factor in success, but you also have to think that the success of a football team is not only on the quarterback's hands because quarterbacks only play offense. They don't play defense.
That's true.
The year Tom Brady lost to the Eagles in the Super Bowl, he threw for 500 yards, and his defense was a 2-pack of ass. You couldn't blame Tom Brady for that. They couldn't stop a nosebleed.
I agree with you. I think people talk as if the Patrick Mahomes GOAT conversation is 10 miles down the road, but it's actually like maybe 6 miles down the road. But we just finished, we're at mile more, like we just finished a mile and a half, maybe 2 miles. Like we're closer than we realized, but we still got a little ways to go.
Yeah. And go ahead.
No, you got it.
I was going to say, it's how can you go? How do people go from 2 weeks ago saying, "Nah, this could be the greatest of all time," to his team goes to the Super Bowl, doesn't perform well. He doesn't necessarily have the best game. Now he's not the GOAT no more. There's no way he can be the GOAT. That's ridiculous. Yeah. Ridiculous. How are people just jumping back and forth like that? I don't get it.
He's starting to get the LeBron treatment when he was in Cleveland. Like he just dragged this. Never mind. Not even talk about it. That's later. Last thing. Well, 2 more things about the Super Bowl. First of all, what were your thoughts on the halftime show?
Well, appropriately, I might say, the Weeknd put on a good show. The Weeknd put on a good show. Like I'm a Weeknd fan, so I was definitely vibing along. But it was when people started saying that was one of the greatest Super Bowl halftime performances ever, or of this century. I'm like, oh, now Beyonce and Bruno didn't do what they do or did what they did for y'all to be disrespecting Beyonce and Bruno. Shakira didn't tell us hips don't lie last year for y'all to lie on her like that. Now, just slow your roll. Just slow your roll now,
Back in the 80s, when the Reagans were in office, they did a anti-drug campaign, and someone cracked an egg and put it on a hot skillet and was like, "This is your brain on drugs." And that's the vibe I got from the halftime show. Like that was an LSD trip if I've ever been on one. Like if whenever I have kids, I'm like, "Yo, this is why you don't do drugs," and I'm gonna show them that halftime show. I almost had a seizure when he was in that hallway.
Look, he was in the hallway, confused, like looking in the mirrors. I watched it and I said, that is going to be a meme in about 15 minutes. Wasn't even 15, took 10 minutes. The internet was already going. And then the masked people, it looked like he was in charge of the Court of Owls. Like I thought they were plotting to stop Batman. Like, I thought they was plotting to run up on the Capitol. Hold on. No, let me stop.
All right, let's move on. So now that the season's over with, who's the favorite to win it next year? And before we get started, I did a power ranking of the top 7 teams that I have who have a shot next year. But for you, who are your title favorites for next year?
Oh, easily. I'm gonna start by saying the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs, when you look at the AFC, it's hard holistically to look at the AFC and think there's going to be a team that's going to dramatically improve that much to where they can beat the Kansas City Chiefs. I think if the Chiefs stay healthy, they come with their guns, they're still going to be probably a top 2 offense in the league. They're going to probably win 13, 14 games. I think they're going to be right back in it. For the NFC, let's just assume that the band in Tampa Bay kind of breaks up, or they stay the same and they just don't perform as well. Outside of Tampa Bay, I'm giving them their credit because they won the Super Bowl. So you have to look at them as the favorites maybe in the NFC. I would say the Packers easily. I think, when you bring back Aaron Rodgers, 3rd year in this offense under Matt LaFleur, we're going to probably go out, draft another good corner, because I'm assuming that Kevin King might not be there after his NFC Championship performance. We're going to bring back Devin Funchess, because actually Devin Funchess opted out last year. So we're going to have some receiver help. I imagine we're going to get Degadara back, who's our tight end that we drafted last year. That offense is going to have a lot of pieces. And we're going to get Bakhtiari back, our good left tackle. We're going to have a lot of good pieces. That team, I believe, still the best team in NFC North, 12, 13 win team. Now when we think outside of that, I think it's hard to say, outside of the Bucs and the NFC South, who's actually going to be effective, right? Because, let's just look at the quarterbacks in that division next year. Tom Brady, Taysom Hill, Matt Ryan, Teddy Bridgewater.
Oh, I don't mean to cut you off, but you think they're going to give the job to Taysom over Jameis?
Jameis, it don't really matter. That's probably going to be the third best quarterback in that division behind Tom Brady and Matt Ryan. And then you don't know what you're going to get out of Teddy Bridgewater. Out West, the Seahawks, if they're able to protect Russell Wilson, I think that is another 11, 12, 13 win team. And I think, in the NFC least, It doesn't really matter because all of them teams stink. So I'm not even gonna. It doesn't even matter who they bring because that's a wild card exit anyway. So I really think that the Seahawks, Packers, Bucks have a really good chance of coming up the NFC next year.
You didn't have to do that to us. We just over there eating our food, and you just come.
Look, next year, I think the winner of the NFC least might have 9 wins, and that's being generous.
Hey, man, that's not bad. 9 or 10 wins. I think the Washington football team could do it. Maybe even if Jalen Hurts get his act together, we might even be hollering at another Philly playoff appearance.
Oh, here we go. Hey,
you
setting yourself up for failure with that take.
I mean, I'm not putting money on it. I'm just saying, hey, man, anything can happen.
Hey, you put $8 down on the Eagles to make the Super Bowl next year, you might be making some money.
Hey, I might retire with those odds. So back to the question at hand. So at number 1, I'm with you. Kansas City, like he had turf toe. He was missing his 2 left tackles. Like I think if we replay this game 5 times, the Chiefs win 3 out of 5. I put Tampa Bay at 2 just out of respect because they won, they're the champs. But they do have a lot of free agents. Like is Chris Godwin going to be there? That defense might look a little different. 3, I have Green Bay because he's Aaron Rodgers. 4, I have the Buffalo Bills. And let me take a moment because I put so much dirt and slander on Josh Allen's name this offseason in writing. So I had the compliments have to be as loud as the disrespect. Josh Allen, I apologize from the bottom of my spirit. You were an MVP candidate. You cleaned up your mechanics, and you won the AFC Championship game. So for that, you're going to be at number 4 for me. And I will never disrespect you again until proven otherwise. But he made me look stupid. Like I have wrote a preseason article, and it was like a whole paragraph just how much Josh Allen sucks. And here we are. Number 5, I have the Rams. I know you don't have a lot of NFC teams. I have a lot. I think Matt Stafford makes the difference. Like that defense is Stafford. We're not looking for like an all-star. Like that defense is elite. Like they can use the same formula they did at Tampa Bay and just insert Matthew Stafford. I also think that I don't think Sean McVay is the wonder boy everyone makes him out to be, but if he is the wonder child, he doesn't have an excuse because now he has a quarterback that's exponentially better than the guy he had to take. So if this is the year, this is the year for the wonder boy.
My thing with that is everyone was quick to throw dirt on Jared Goff, but a couple years ago when that team made the Super Bowl, Jared Goff wasn't bad. Jared Goff once went toe-to-toe with Patrick Mahomes in prime time and beat him in a shootout. But everyone just forgets that. Everyone just forgets that. Why don't the way I thought about it was instead of people thinking that what if the league compromised the Rams? What if the league found out how to defend this Rams offense just by watching the Super Bowl when Coach Belichick and that team shut them down and they used that as the formula?
Hey, dog, Belichick is a menace. He ripped that Rams team to shreds. He figured out what happened, and Jared ain't been right since.
See? And now I'm hoping that's not the case with Patrick Mahomes. I hope Todd Bowles did not give the NFL the key to beating Patrick Mahomes.
But see, I think Mahomes has the physical skills to overcome that. Like I remember last year he said on HBO on the Barbershop Talk, like he's just learning how to read defenses. That was last year. Like he's only going to get better. I feel like Jared Goff has a ceiling that you can see and you know where it's at. I think Mahomes can go way beyond that. He's way beyond Jared Goff now. Like Mahomes' worst season will be better than Goff's best season.
I can agree with that. I don't think there's an argument with that.
Number 6, I have the Ravens. I am a Lamar Jackson stan. I think the Ravens, I think he had a down year. Will he get back to that MVP level? Maybe. But even if he doesn't, I think that Ravens team is still good enough as long as they find a replacement for Mark Ingram to do something dangerous. And then the 7th team, this is my sleeper, the 49ers. That defense, Nick Bosa is coming back. That defense, I know Salah has gone to the Jets, but I just have a feeling they're going to figure out the quarterback position because they can cut Garoppolo and pay nothing. They will figure it out. They'll make a trade. They'll get someone better than Garoppolo. Again, it's another, we don't need a superstar. We just need someone who won't lose it. And then we'll unleash this defense on you and we'll win.
The thing with that is it's like, okay, if you get rid of Jimmy G, right? If you deem Jimmy G is not adequate of a quarterback enough to run this offense, Who do you get that is better?
I mean, this is the off season.
Find better though.
I mean, this is the off season where you have so many quarterbacks that are. You got Sam Darnold, Carson's up. If you can find a way to get Deshaun out of Houston, like there are quarterbacks that are available that traditionally would not be available. And I think the 49ers, I think John Lynch has earned the respect enough as a GM that he'll figure out the quarterback position and put San Francisco in a position to contend for a Super Bowl next year.
Thing there is I agree with you on Sam Darnold. I don't think you have to give up a lot to get Sam Darnold. Yeah. I think the Eagles are going to try to fleece someone for Carson Wentz because they're going to try to sell people on that 2017 season.
Yes.
Deshaun Watson, there's no way you can get him without throwing the king's ransom. The proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the pudding. So the Texans hold all the keys. The Texans can keep him, right? And just force him to play. Or don't pay him. Or if you find a team that wants to trade for him, okay, well, give me your best player, couple first-round picks, and a second-round pick. Who's going to want to do that? You saw what the Lions asked for just to end up with Jared Goff. The Lions was like, yo, let me get Aaron Donald. And the Rams said, try again. And then they settled on Jared Goff. I would be sick to my stomach. That's not even close. That's like going to PF Chang's and getting Chinese spot from down the street. It just ain't the same. I mean, it might hit somewhat, but it ain't gonna hit like that PF Chang's hit.
But Deshaun does have a no trade clause. Like he can control where he goes. So
that's why we're going to do it because the team that he probably wants to go to, they're not going to want to give up that much to get him. And the teams that do want to trade for him, that got all this capita per se, he might not want to play for them. So it's a give and a little take. I think if Deshaun really wants to get out, he might have to consider waiving the no trade clause. But you do that, you're opening Pandora's box. I don't want to see Deshaun play for the New York Jets. That's where careers could have died. That's true. But if he ends up with Urban Meyer and Jacksonville, okay, now we're talking about something. But the Texans are trading in their division, so it's a slippery slope.
Can I put on my conspiracy hat for a moment? Can I put on the tinfoil hat? How Deshaun Watson ends up in Philadelphia? So this is what happens. The Eagles fleece the Bears for the 21st pick and the first-round pick next year, and then Philadelphia says, hey, guys, the Bears are going to suck. We'll give you 21 this year, their first next year, and our first next year. You give us Deshaun. We'll give you Zach Ertz too. Deshaun is an Eagle. They keep number 6. They draft Jamar Chase. And then that $8 I put down for the Eagles going to the Super Bowl turns into $8,000. That's the perfect 2021 for me. Let's make it happen. We speak it into existence. Deshaun Watson will be an Eagle.
You know what? As a friend, I hope for your sake that it happens. I just don't see it happening though.
Deshaun Watson will be an Eagle. Next topic. So last week, the NBA and the Players Association agreed to play an all-star game on March 7th in Atlanta. The event will be one night of skills in the actual game. Players like LeBron and De'Aaron Fox have spoken out against the actual game. And Nuggets star Nikola Jokic has actually said he'd rather just rest instead of play an all-star game. Is this a smart move by the NBA?
Oh, absolutely not. This is honestly, my first thought when I saw it was this has to be some sort of joke. This has to be some sort of joke. Like the NBA cannot be this hypocritical, right? And I love the NBA. But this is my thing. If you put in all these rules to the point to where players can't even really dap each other up after games, right? In what world do you need to have an all-star game? In Atlanta, in a city that is clearly not closed, a city where COVID does not exist, pretty much in their eyes. Why are you risking the health of your top players? And then furthermore, you're risking the health of teams because these are, when they go back to their teams, you run the risk of the virus maybe even spreading. They're assuming that people in Atlanta, end up accidentally contracting the virus. Then you run the risk of these people accidentally share with their families, all because you want to see Zach LaVine try to win the dunk contest again, or because you want to see Steph Curry in the 3-point contest. And it's even funnier because they announced this All-Star game, right? And then 24 hours later, they are taking Kevin Durant out mid-game after he tested negative twice in the same day. I mean, you can't make this type of stuff up. You just can't make that type of stuff up. No, I think that's a terrible play. Like the NBA should have just told all the players, look, we're trying to make money. And then told the world that too. Because I mean, that's essentially what you're saying. We just trying to make money. Come on.
It's absolutely a money grab. I think all the goodwill and good press they earned from the bubble is gone. Like the season, yes, sure, the season's gone on, but like you said, Kevin Durant being taken out in the middle of the game, what's the point? Like he's breathed on everyone. Like if he got it, everyone got it. The thing for me was, how does this go through without LeBron's blessing? Like I know the Players Association doesn't need LeBron to sign off on stuff, but he's the Don.
Yeah.
Like Pat Bev said last year, yo, if LeBron say we hooping, we hooping. And if LeBron say we not hooping, then we not hooping. Like that's the other side of this coin. How does this get by, LeBron without him saying, "Oh yeah, that's a great idea"?
Because Adam Silver put in the call. He said, "Look, LeBron, I know who you are, but brother, we needs money. The league needs money, so we got to do what we got to do." Look, the thing is, I like Adam Silver. I think Adam Silver has really done an incredible job as the NBA commissioner, right? I think this is one of those where he's missing this. He's missing the step here. I just don't think this is necessary. Like, why are you going to risk the health and safety of your quite literal faces of the league? Why? What happens to TV ratings? I'm gonna throw a question out there. What happens to TV ratings if, knock on wood, Braun accidentally contracts COVID-19, right?
They plummet.
Because that's essentially 2.5 to 3 weeks where there would be no LeBron James playing basketball. So not only are the Lakers going to be in a bad shape, but like any games that you have slated prime time, because the Lakers got a lot of them. I mean, I'm not going to say they're not worth watching, but
not worth watching.
And
that's if there's no lingering effects. Like a player could very well catch coronavirus and have like an alarm and have some health side effects.
Or they don't come back the same player. One good example I saw or I've seen is Seth Curry. Seth Curry started off hot, was shooting, I believe, either in the mid 40s or maybe high 40s from three. Gets COVID-19, comes back, and he doesn't look the same. Like he's slowly starting to get back up to it, but it took him some games. Right. Yeah. And I think that might be the case. Like you said, we don't know the real lingering effects of COVID-19, and we don't know how it affects because I think it affects players differently. Right. So, I think when Karl-Anthony Towns come back, I'm going to be very eager to see, like, how does he look? What's his physical condition coming back after contracting this virus? Because, he's had a family history of it that hasn't been, so well. So it's just, I don't think, like, why at that point are you even risking the health of your players? Like, it's for an all-star game, because everyone knows All-Star Weekend, all we really care about is the 3-point contest and the dunk contest, because they don't really try in the All-Star game. So what are we doing here? What are we doing here?
The juice isn't worth the squeeze at all. I feel like you're right. Keep your eye on the finals. Get there as safely as you can.
Yeah. Then I say, if you're going to put all your chips into the COVID basket, you put it into the finals, because at least it's your big stage. It's like, okay, this is where we need to make this a big deal, which then it becomes completely understandable because it's the finals. It's the finals, baby. You got to crown a champion before an all-star game in Atlanta. Come on, man. You try to tell an NBA player, hey, man, don't hit Magic City. Don't hit Magic City. They're going to look at you like you crazy. Like, what? Like, what? Nah, I'm going to go get them wings. Shout out to Sweet Pepper Luke.
He was there for I heard someone say he wasn't there for the wings. He was there for the leg and thighs. And I felt seen.
Hey, man, all I'm saying is Lou Williams, I understand. That's all I'm saying.
All right. Now we've come to the part of the show that will over time probably become my favorite part of the show. Each week, D and I will have the opportunity to speak freely about a topic that's on our minds. Some weeks it'll be both of us, some weeks it'll be one of us, some weeks it'll be neither one of us say anything, we'll just close out. But D, with your permission, I'd like to take the first bite of this apple.
My brother, the flow is yours, my brother.
Hey, this something on my spirit for years, and I'm finally glad I get to talk about it.
Talk to it. Speak on it, brother.
The triple option is as old as football itself, created for teams that don't have all-world talent, The triple option is predicated on eating clock and confusing defenses. The problem with the triple option, it sucks. It sucks to watch. It sucks for color commentators. It sucks for fans. And it probably sucks for players. Let's be real. How many people turn on the TV Saturday afternoons yearning to watch 64 run plays? Are you telling me these teams in the United States of America cannot find one human being who can throw the ball accurately 15 yards down the field? Hell, every football team I've ever played on, there's been a lineman that can throw the ball better, if not just as well as the starting quarterback. Put number 7 on that big man and let him work his magic. Because I tell you, that's a lot more fun than watching a fullback dive on 3rd and 15. The time has come, America. We need to put the squeeze on the NCAA and abolish the triple option. It's time. Like, I'm sick of it. I don't care who runs it. Get rid of it. Make no mistake, the triple option has to go. It had its time under the sun. That sun has set. We are under a new modern era of football, and the triple option has no place in it.
My brother.
Come to the altar. Is there one?
My brother. Amen to that. Let me tell you something. As a Virginia Tech football fan, I had to sit through 4 years of watching Georgia Tech and that stupid ass triple option. And it infuriates you as a fan because you're like, all year, we play 12, 13 games? The team plays 12, 13 games, and it's always the one damn game against Georgia Tech where you just don't know because you just don't know how the defense is going to show up that day. If they show up good, that's a 31-0 blowout. Or if they don't show up at all, that's a 41-24 shootout.
If I had a son and a team that ran the triple option, and if my son were a receiver and a team that ran the triple option came to my house offering my son a scholarship to block for 73 plays, I'd tell the coach to get the hell out of my house. My son's career stats going to be 20 catches for 275 yards and 3 touchdowns. Dog, he just there for the education. Get out of my house. It's so disrespectful. Kids, I know it's a free education. We trying to avoid that. But if someone tried to recruit you as a receiver to play triple option, you tell that man get out your house and never call you again because he's being real disrespectful. He's saying you a lineman that can run fast. That's it.
Which is funny because I believe Calvin Johnson played at Georgia Tech, and I believe weren't they running a triple option during that time, or am I crazy?
Maybe I have to look that up. But if they ran the triple option with one of the best receivers ever, they don't deserve to be in Division I football. Take them down to D3.
I'll look it up, but if it's true, we're gonna have to really reevaluate how Georgia Tech may have gifted Calvin Johnson maybe a year or two in the NFL because it just didn't utilize him.
They didn't give that man nothing. They wasted his time.
And then the Lions came in and said, "Oh, y'all don't want to waste his career? Hold my beer. We'll definitely waste his career. Definitely waste that man's career.
We'll waste all that man's time.
Wasted all that man's time." Shout out to Calvin Johnson for making the Pro Football Hall of Fame at under 40 years old, which really should speak to how incredible he was as a receiver. That
First
dude
ballot.
Was a beast. But really, shout out to the entire Pro Football Hall of Fame class. Charles Woodson, go Pack, go baby! I'm happy to see you in there. I think Charles Woodson might have a real argument for overall one of the greatest football careers ever between high school, college, and the pro.
Oh, yeah.
He has an argument for one of the greatest football careers ever. I'm just saying.
Hey, ain't no pushback here.
I'm just saying.
All right, that does it for episode 1. Speak on it.
Like this. This is gonna be fun.
Hey man, y'all can find us here Tuesdays at 7:00. Don't forget to go to goingfor2.com for all your fantasy needs. D, where can the people find you?
You can find me on Twitter, on IG at LosDmix. That is LOSDEEMIX. Because you already know when you see this Nas fade, it can only be one brother, the good brother, Los Dmix, baby. Los Dmix. Dmix, baby.
One more thing before we get out of here. Valentine's Day is this weekend. Make sure to get something for that someone special. And if you don't have someone special, treat yourself. Love yourself.
Love yourself. And for my brothers out there, don't be afraid to put together a Valentine's playlist. Put some of that SWV. Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you'll drop a Spotify link for them to borrow, since you got the beautiful mind for the music.
I might have to drop them a link or something. I'll put together a little something for my lady, but I may drop something.
All right, let's say goodbye to the people, D.
Hey, man. Peace out, people. Much love.
Peace.